What even is Saw X?
Groovy.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Can't Kill Dill, lover of all things morbid, macabre, and horrific. If you are too, beautiful. Let's be friends. Today I want to talk a little bit about some Saw X news or Saw 10 news, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. That's your deal, not mine. I'm going to call it Saw X. So we got some Saw X news coming out, which is a little bit perplexing to me. This whole thing has been a little bit perplexing to me. And we got some news on a new Stephen King adaptation that has me really, really excited in my pants. Bloody disgusting reports. We learned just a couple months back that the upcoming Saw 10 will bring Tobin Bell back to the franchise as horror icon Jigsaw, John Kramer, and Deadline reports today that Shawnee Smith is now in talks to make her long-awaited return to the franchise. Deadline reminds, introduced as one of Kramer's victims in the original 2004 film, Shawnee Smith's Amanda Young was later revealed to be an apprentice of the killer, known for forcing captives to play deadly games before meeting her end in Saw 3. It sounds like the plan for the untitled 10th installment in the franchise is to bring back all the major elements fans loved about the franchise, which could prove to be a smart move. As for how characters like Jigsaw and Amanda are able to come back, only time will tell. Like I said, Saw X is just perplexing to me. I love Saw. I do. And I'm not hating this whatsoever. John Kramer is my favorite part about the franchise, honestly. Tobin Bell, he is literally my favorite part, genuinely my favorite part of this entire franchise. And as well as Shawnee Smith, Amanda is also just a fucking awesome character in the franchise. And yeah, after Saw 3, for me, the franchise does take a dip. I still enjoy every single fucking movie in that franchise. I do not care. I enjoy all of them. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. I love them all. They're all great for me. Every one of them has something great about them. Saw 3D had Chester Bennington. That was fucking great. that whole thing alone is worth to watch that movie for me. But regardless, I'm so, I went into this thinking like, I guess it must be a prequel or whatever, it must take place in between Saw 1 and 2 or in between 2 and 3, I suppose, which I guess we're going to have to get some de-aging, right? Tobin Bell has already been kind of like an old man for a long time, I suppose, so I guess de-aging him really may not be that big of a deal, and with Shawnee Smith, I'm sure it probably wouldn't be that big of a task either. It's kind of bittersweet because I want the franchise to grow. I want the franchise to flourish still. But at the same time, goddamn, it's not as good without Tobin Bell. It's not as good. And bringing back Shawnee Smith, well, that's just a big fucking plus too. The problem I have is that we're going to be 10 movies in and they both fucking died in the third film. I don't know. I'm excited. But I guess we'll see, right? And it's been attempted before. This is something I'm really passionate about. I fucking love Stephen King. He's like kind of my favorite person ever. Stephen King for me is just he's that guy. I was brought up on King. He's like in my fucking DNA at this point. I was raised on his movies, before I started reading his work, before I started reading his books. As a young child, I was watching his movies. I think Pet Sematary was probably the first thing of his I was ever introduced to. As a child, my family would shut off the fucking lights in the house and do Zelda's line from the film, Rachel, and I would just sob. It sounds mean. It's not. I look back on those memories very fondly, and it shaped who I am. Pet Sematary is my favorite, not only my favorite Stephen King book, it is my favorite Stephen King film. This isn't about Pet Sematary, though. This is just what shaped me. I love Stephen King, and The Dark Tower, they tried already, and they fucking pooped out. I don't know what it was. God bless Idris Elba. I fucking love the man. He's not the gunslinger. He's not the guy. Matthew McConaughey, go away. I love you, but go away. Go back to, Texas Chainsaw or something. You don't belong in the Dark Tower, my friend. But we get another chance. We get another shot. I'm so happy. I remember hearing a long time ago that possibly there was going to be I think I remember it was after The Stand came out. That new Stand series came out, which I fucking loved. And then it was shortly after that came out and that was successful on Paramount Plus, that we were going to get a new adaptation of The Dark Tower, and that it was going to be likely, I believe I remember, it was originally Amazon Prime, and it looks like that's fucking happening. Oh my god. I mean, we have a lot to be excited about when it comes to The Dark Tower. If you're a King fan, if you're a Mike Flanagan fan. As we learned last week, Mike Flanagan and Trevor Macy's Intrepid Pictures is moving from Netflix to Amazon Studios. The duo inking a deal that'll bring their future series projects exclusively to Prime. What's next from Flanagan and Macy, you ask? Well, they just revealed a deadline this week that they're getting set to climb Stephen King's The Dark Tower. The project, Flanagan notes, exists separately from Intrepid's deal with Amazon Studios at this time. But he says he'd be thrilled if Amazon did decide to pick up the epic-sized series. Mike Flanagan tells Deadline, "You're the first person we're saying it to, but yes, predating our deal with Amazon, we acquired the rights to The Dark Tower, which if you know anything about me, you know it has been my holy grail of a project for most of my life." That's promising to hear. We actually have those rights carved out of our Amazon deal, which doesn't mean that they can't or won't get behind it at some point. You don't know, but that's something we've been developing ourselves and are really passionate about, finally getting it up on its feet at some point. I wrote a pilot. We view it as a series that's going to be at least 5 seasons, Flanagan continues, and having lived with this project as long as I have an enormous amount of it worked out in my brain. I have a pilot script I'm thrilled with and a very detailed outline for the first season and a broader outline for the subsequent seasons. I think eventually, if we were able to get it going, there are some other writers I want to fold into the process whom I've worked with before. I think they would be really fabulous for a very small, intimate writer's room where we can continue to break it. I'll tell you, more than half my life, I've closed my eyes and been able to watch a lot of this play out. I've dreamed about this. The first shot, which comes right off at the first incredible sentence of the first book, the gunslinger. I've had that image just rattled around in my head since I was an undergrad. It's going to have to get out there eventually. This is like a massive passion project for Mike Flanagan. And I mean, that's what you want to hear. Granted, this is a massive undertaking. The Dark Tower is fucking huge. This is King's work, man. This is fuck. Flanagan is, of course, no stranger to King adaptations, having directed both Gerald's Game and Dr. Sleep. He hopes the planned TV series will eventually spawn feature films based on King's Dark Tower novels as well, but he's not putting that cart too far ahead of the horse. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. I mean, just think about the things he's already done. Midnight Club, Midnight Mass, The Haunting of Bly Manor, The Haunting of Hill House. You also have Dr. Sleep, which, by the way, I fucking loved Dr. Sleep. Yes, The Dark Tower, again, is a massive fucking undertaking. Huge fucking deal. But dude, I think Mike Flanagan could probably fucking do it. He's passionate about it. Like he said, he's had these images in his head for so long. He wants to tell this story. You could tell he's in love with the source material. It's going to be amazing. I feel it in my bones. I know that things could go wrong, and it's a Stephen King adaptation, and things can go wrong with King adaptations. But I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. You know, like, you gotta be, right? What do you guys think about this stuff? How do you feel about Saw X? What do you think about Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith coming back? How do you feel about Mike Flanagan taking on The Dark Tower? Holy fucking shit. 5 seasons and possibly 2 feature-length films? I mean, whoa, dude. That's like fucking, that's awesome. I'm excited. Let me know if you're excited down below. Don't forget to stab the like button, /subscribe, and gut that bell notification. Later, guys.